Hello, my name is Dr. MarkAlain, Dery, and I'm the Medical Director of Infectious Diseases and Chief Innovation Officer for Access Health Louisiana. This is Handsome, and she's refusing to get off of the table right now, so there you go. You've seen me do these updates now for about 6 weeks in conjunction with the leadership of the ACOI, and I hope these messages are helping you keep up with the latest on COVID-19. I know many of you are in the thick of the fight, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of all of us who daily focus on infectious diseases for a living, and certainly on behalf of the ACOI. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I serve as co-chair for the ACOI Infectious Diseases Subspecialty Section. And as we are facing this once-in-a-lifetime global battle, I want to hear from my colleagues who are experiencing the fight from their locations. No matter where you are in the country, I provide my contact information at the end of the update, so listen for that, and I hope you take me up on this invitation to reach out. Moving forward, together with the ACOI, we will continue to share information as it becomes available, as well as some of the hopeful progress that we are seeing. Also, for more information on the ACOI's new peer-to-peer well-being check-in sessions that is available free of charge to ACOI members, please go to acoi.org/COVID-19 and click on the box so you can find out how you can join in. These Zoom sessions are an awesome way to feel connection and support during this challenging time. So for our clinical segment here, we're going to talk about eye receptors and COVID-19. So after weeks of reporting on the virus, Dr. Joseph Fair, who is a virologist and epidemiologist and also serves as a medical consultant for NBC and the Today Show, came down with COVID-19 himself. His conclusion is that he may have contracted it on a crowded flight not long ago from New York to New Orleans, and his symptoms actually showed up just a few days after his flight. While he did protect himself by wearing a mask and gloves, he did not have any eye protection. And he said his best guess as an epidemiologist is that he contracted the virus through his eye receptors, since virus transmission through ocular fluids is entirely possible. And it so happens that a new study has been published that reports that the presence of ACE receptors in the eye at high concentrations. Now, these molecules are the entry points for the SARS-CoV-2 virus that is causing the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Johns Hopkins University of Medicine has found that eyes and surrounding tissue produce the enzyme ACE2, making them a target for the virus. COVID-19 latches onto ACE2 receptors, and these are known as the gateway into cells inside the body. And meaning if droplets from an infected person were to land onto the eye, the virus could begin infiltrating cells there. The Hopkins studies also found that TMPRSS2, which is an enzyme that helps COVID-19 pass through blood vessels and pores, is also present in the eyes. And this has also been found elsewhere. Researchers from the University of Hong Kong have found that the eyes are an important route for COVID-19 to enter the body. These findings and Dr. Fair's experience reinforces the advice to not touch your eyes without thoroughly washing the hands first. So, while it isn't practical for people to wear face shields out in the public, day to day, it does show that it may be helpful to consider wearing glasses, if you do, as possibly a preventative measure. Let's talk about COVID and heart injury, as heart injury does appear to be common in severe COVID-19 patients, especially amongst those who die. So the European Heart Journal recently published a study of over 600 patients with severe COVID-19, and they found that 62 patients that died, 75% did show cardiac injury. The presence of cardiac troponin, the protein that is secreted into the blood when the heart is injured, was a strong predictor of mortality, meaning that the levels of this protein could be used to help predict those critical patients who are at risk of dying. Elevated levels of troponin can prompt requests in hospitals for imaging of the heart, and this is discussed in the context of COVID-19 in yet another article in the European Heart Journal Cardiovascular Imaging. And it turns out that COVID-19 patients who were most likely to have cardiac injury were those that were older, had underlying related conditions, and also had higher levels of CRP. Exactly how COVID-19 injures the heart remains an open question, with direct viral assault on the heart muscle, maybe collateral damage from the overall immune system response to the virus possibly playing a role as well. This is an evolving topic, and we will continue to follow this because it is a very fascinating topic. Lastly, we're going to talk a bit about some of the anti-vaccine activists that we've been seeing. So most of us are looking to the eventual development of vaccine and widespread efforts to immunize the globe as our way of beating the virus and as the ticket for opening the world again. But as we all know, there are individuals who don't believe that vaccines are safe. And these people have been around for a long time. And in my mind, it was only a matter of time before we started hearing their anti-vaccine cries in regard to a future COVID-19 vaccine. Now, thankfully, these individuals amount to a very small group, but still their opposition could actually bring harm to the efforts being made for vaccine development and acceptance. We're also seeing that these anti-vaccine advocates are becoming allies with those who are opposing and protesting stay-at-home orders and advisories. So my hope is that they will be drowned out by reason and science, right? But we also have to keep our guard up because these groups could influence policy decisions in negative ways. But while the progress on vaccines in general is often hailed as the single greatest biomedical accomplishment in human history, these groups somehow gain an audience, and social media becomes their platform for an organized online presence, which is why we need to be even more vocal as pro-vaccine advocates. And this is another case where science needs to be heeded as opposed to the baseless arguments from fringe groups. Now, the fear they stir impedes medical progress, and we need to counter this misinformation with facts. Those of us who work daily in medicine and who have seen the devastation of infectious diseases are the ones who are perhaps best understand the medical miracles that can be accomplished through vaccines. The other thing is that it is devastating to see people die from vaccine-preventable deaths, and this is this is something that I have seen and is horrific. Lastly, I do want to say, how much do you want to bet that we will be out of flu vaccines before Thanksgiving this year? I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying. So stay on the lookout for our regular updates. And to read more from the sources that was used in this report, go to acoi.org/COVID-19. Together with the ACOI, we will help you have the latest information to help you respond to your patients and stay on top of the crisis. And please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I am at madery@mac.com. Please stay safe. We can do this together. And Handsome is over there eating, so she's good. Thanks, guys.